Hey everybody, Crystal Kitsune here, and today we are returning back to the fun little puzzle game called Puzzle Pirates. Now, a couple months ago, when I first started the channel back up again, I was playing Puzzle Pirates, and I did a couple episodes of us playing Puzzle Pirates, and then I stopped because there wasn't really that much left to do in the game. We basically did all the different puzzles, and we went on pillages and things like that. Now, I haven't been in this game since the last time we played, or I played, but I thought it would be interesting to come back in and just do some of the puzzles again. I don't think there's anything new since the last time that I played, but I still wanted to come back and just, have some fun in Puzzle Pirates. So I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. I haven't played Puzzle Pirates since I got this computer because I had to download it for this computer. So normally I would use Ivani if I was playing normally, but I'll go ahead and get on Lucienne because she's kind of like my second main character. Crystal C we created like when I first started doing Puzzle Pirates on for YouTube, but she doesn't really have that many stats, so it's kind of hard to build them up from scratch when you're starting a new pirate. One of these days we may go back to Crystal C, but I really want to check out Luciana and see what's going on with her. So my labor badge crumbled to dust, and my flagon has crumbled to dust. So basically I can't do any labor because it's dusted. So the news, they got new gold boxes, seal of piracy for December, because they have a new seal of piracy for each month, and then you got the monthly reward if you buy stuff, or buy doubloons or whatever. So the puzzles look all the same. They don't look like they added anything different. And mine, of course, my favorite ones are is rigging and bilge, so we can see if there's any voyages going on. There is a flotilla attack going off with these guys, but they're basically, it's a flotilla, so that usually takes a really long time. But this is regular pillaging. Looks pretty easy, so we'll go ahead and dispatch ourselves, see what pops up. If we don't get a reply from them, then I'll go ahead and just do some stuff with the Navy. Oh, cool. Sure, I don't mind. Yeah, the person, I guess, who is doing the pillage, who's taking the reins, I guess, of the ship, asks if it was okay if I come aboard because it is a officer training pillage for, I guess, his crew. So I'm just coming on board to do stuff. Ahoy! So I'll probably either pick, I'm good at rigging or bilge. Either is okay. And alright. So that may take a few minutes to, because they're going to be sailing in a few minutes. And it looks like the ocean changed colors because it's usually dark blue and it's like a light blue now, so they're probably I just say aye aye. So I'll go ahead and pick rigging because that's what I'm good at. And they said they're going to be leaving in a few minutes, so I guess they're going to just be training Debass or something. So in the meantime, while we're waiting, I'll probably edit some of this stuff out because you don't want to sit here and wait. But it's been a while since I've been in this game. I mean, it's kind of like riding a bike when you get into this game. I mean, if you've played it before, of course. But I've been in this game off and on for a really long time. Every time I come back, sometimes they put new stuff in. The last time that I was gone for like years, they added patching and what was the other one? Patching was like the big one because it was it went with carpentry on these things. So I'm just kind of like gonna go, and they're not leaving anytime soon, so I'm just gonna go back to my house, leave this one, and I'm just gonna go carpet with or do some stuff with the Navy because it's gonna take way too long to get a run, because like they don't have, that's all there is. And sadly Puzzle Pirates like is not as popular as it used to be. I mean, it is kind of late, so maybe that's the reason why there's not a lot of people online right now. But back in the day when I first started playing this game, it was like full. It was like a shit ton of people that, you know, were there, and it was just like rows of, you know, people playing, people starting pillages and flotillas and sea monster hunts and things like that. So they're just gonna be starting this. So I got my trusty mouse here just in case I need it, which I might, because I hate the trackpad on this laptop, as I have mentioned many a times, and it's on. So I met some really nice people on this game. It's a great, like, or it used to be a really great place to like meet people, because like, I mean, not like a hookup type meeting, but to make like some like sort of friends. But like, I would come on here, and like the crew that I was in at the time would be all like, every time I would come online, they'd be all like, you know, at the time I was using Ivani, I would get people who was like, they'd not scream out, but they would say, Ivani! Like, they were happy to see me. And it's like they did that with everybody, you know, who was in the crew. So nobody felt left out. Every time somebody logged in, they would be all like, hey, whatever your name is. You know, I mean, they knew their name, but I don't have an example of who else to say, but I mean, they would always greet them, and they'd always, you know, welcome them online, and always including people in runs and things like that. Sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth. They were always doing like pillages or sea monster hunts, or you know, getting into the events and things like that on the islands and such. So there was always something going on. I mean, there was never a dull moment. So you could either do like a couple hour long pillage, or get into like a flotilla attack, or get into, you know, some other kind of like a sea monster hunt, which takes a lot of time and stuff like that. So you were on this game for hours at a time, and every once in a while, like, one of the messages would pop up and say, you've been playing too long, why don't you get up and stretch your legs and take a break? And I'd be all like, okay, thanks, and then just like sit there for like an extra 2 hours or something. I mean, it was fun, and I enjoy this game a lot. I mean, when I'm in the mood for it, you know, because every time I get into something, I usually end up playing it for a while and then kind of move on and do something else, and eventually I'll come back to it. Same thing with like Minecraft or something like that, or even like World of Warcraft, because I played World of Warcraft like a long time ago, and I created a character, and I, you know, did I had like a level 40 something night elf. And when I got to the point where I bought like one thing that let me play for like 3 months, but I wasn't able to keep playing because my computer at that time was turning into a piece of shit and wouldn't let me play it anymore. So that was kind of sad because I still had like 2 months left on that account, and it kind of pissed me off because I mean it didn't seem to matter like where I was at or what server I was on. I would always lag, and it wasn't fun. And so going to Stormwind was a pain in the ass because Stormwind was always, you know, the hotspot place for everybody to go to. And if I had to go to Stormwind for something or go through Stormwind, it wasn't gonna happen. But when I got into like some of the areas that were quieter, no people, I was like rubber banding like a biatch. So yeah, but then just like earlier this year, I kind of got back into, or late last year, kind of earlier this year, I was playing World of Warcraft, and I got my first character in any MMO that I played to level 100, because I've played a butt ton of MMOs. I mean, I can just go down the list of all the different ones that I've played, but I won't bore you. But I played a lot of them, let's put it that way. And normal MMOs only keep my attention for like a month or 2 months, and then I basically am like, I don't want to play this anymore. So I don't. And then I just go on to something else. A lot of the MMO world is basically just grinding and leveling, and you know, doing quests in between to get higher level and whatever. But it's so grindy, so fetch questy, and it just gets so like to where you don't want to play it anymore, you know, because it's like, yeah, there's the prospect of getting to a higher level and maybe getting something cool at a certain level, like when you reach a certain level in World of Warcraft, you're able to get a mount, so you learn a mount and then you can ride around on it, and then when you reach another level, then you can have flying mounts. So of course I wanted a flying mount, and I ended up getting one, and I got into this the second time. I'm like fucking up here. The second time round when I came back to World of Warcraft, I got into this really nice guild that had people that helped. And for like the longest time, I'm like, anytime you reach like level 21, because if you do free play, you can only play up to level 20, and then you basically have to start another character over or pay to continue your character. So when I played to continue my character and I reached level 21, it was like, oh, I was being bombarded by requests to join guilds, because people were like, hey, you want to join my guild? Hey, you want to join my guild? I was getting constantly berated or bombarded by these requests to play or to join these guilds. For the longest time, I kind of like avoided them or whatever, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to join a guild. But then finally I just broke down and joined one, because if I didn't, people were still going to get on me to join them. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll, you know, humor someone and go ahead and join one. So I did. And I was actually kind of glad, because like I said, there were some really nice people in the guild, because I didn't know what to do. I honestly, like, once I got to a certain level, they told me where I was supposed to go. Like, okay, so you're level, you know, 60, you go here and do the quests there, and then after that you go ahead and come over here and do this. So they were helpful in that aspect. And I got some really kick-ass mounts for doing different quests and stuff. Because you can only get certain mounts by going through different dungeons or, you know, doing certain quests and stuff. So you have to have people to go with you or be a super high level that you can beat it by yourself. One of the ones that I was really happy about was the Chinese dragon or whatever that you got for, they called it like something else, but it's essentially a Chinese dragon. And I got it by doing the dragon mount. Like, you had to do a special quest in order to get it. So you had to start it, and then like a week later, after doing, you know, training and stuff with it, then it turned into a mount that you could ride. So I was happy about that. Cause I want my dragon. And they got me a bunch of other dragons and things like that that I could ride. And I bought like a card that had, you know, money on it and got a different mount, which was like a Pegasus, like a spectral Pegasus type thing. Yeah, I spent money above and beyond what you normally do when you're playing World of Warcraft. And I played it for a while. But then I kind of was like, you know, I'm just doing the same quests over and over again. In a different character. Like, once I got past my first character, which was Lady Purple Lady. Purple Lady was my elf that I got to level 100. And then I had like a Worgen, and I had a Blood Elf. I had a bunch of different characters. I got my Worgen to like level 80 something, but it doesn't matter which race you pick, unless you're like on the Horde side. I'm not quite sure how that goes about, but on the Alliance side, it doesn't matter which character you choose. You end up, whatever race you choose, you end up in the same place in the end. So I was doing the same quests that I did on Purple Lady, and I'm like, people actually sit around and do this for hours on a day. I don't mind doing it once, but if it's gonna be the same exact thing, you know, for a different character, that just kind of makes it not fun anymore, you know? Because you're playing through the same quests as before, you're just doing it on a different character. So I didn't want to do that. So I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna play anymore. But yeah, this has probably been a really boring episode because we didn't really do anything. But it's fun to get back into this game and do stuff once in a while. If I ever get a chance to do live streams and stuff, which I'm still kind of like hoping I'm going to be able to do here in a little bit. I'm going to see if I could stream doing Puzzle Pirates, because this is a game that you can do in short bursts, but then it gets kind of boring because you're just doing puzzles for the Navy, and if you're not actually doing pillages or sea monster hunts or flotillas, you're not fighting, you're not doing anything, you're just running back and forth, and that's boring. So if I get a chance to start doing live streams, I'll try to live stream this, and then, you know, you can see me waiting to be picked to go on a pillage or something, and waiting for more people to come in. That's the bad part. It's like anytime you try to run a pillage or anything like that, you have to job. And if you job, then you have to sit around and wait for people to show up. And if you're doing it for a very big ship, it's gonna take forever. I should know, because a lot of the crew members that I had would run stuff on a Grand Frig or something like that for a big run to do like a flotilla or a blockade or something like that, and it would take forever to job, and people get impatient and leave, and then you're back where you started from because you don't have enough people. So that's gonna be it for Puzzle Pirates. So make sure you give it a like and share with your friends. Also be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Also be sure to go to my website. The link is in the description. And if you go over to this side, YouTube has chosen a video that they think you'll like. If you go here, you can click here and subscribe if you haven't yet, and go here to click to be taken to the merch store if you're interested in getting some merch, a t-shirt or a tote bag or anything like that. And I will see everybody next time. Bye bye.